For thousands of years, books have provided us with a place of learning, a place of escape, and a place to just let our imaginations run wild. It hasn't been until the past 20 years or so that we've begun to make the transition from physical books to reading books on a screen. I've loved learning and reading for so many years now, and I've also spent quite a lot of time on screens considering they're so readily available to our generation. Today I'd like to share with you the reasons that I believe physical books are better than ebooks. Most of us are college students, which means we are on our phones and our laptops quite often. However, the blue light in these devices can be very harmful and cause headaches, migraines, dry or strained eyes, and even physical health problems. Now, Loredana Sabana and other co-writers of hers talk about the effects of blue light in modern society. They go ahead and they tell us about the effects that it has on sleep-wake cycles, the increase in sleep disorders, and also the decrease in quality of sleep that we receive in response to that blue light. She later on goes on to warn us, quote, "Overexposure or inappropriate exposure to blue light disrupts whole body homeostasis and acts on brain, hormonal, cardiac functions, and can cause obesity, diabetes, depression, and cancer." Now, this mixed in with what Safe Eye says, that since COVID-19 came about, the time spent on average for the average adult on a screen has gone up to over 13 hours a day. Now that's a big chunk of someone's day, regardless of who you are. So let's go ahead and talk about some ways that we can kind of fix that. If you want to get the full benefit of reading and you don't want the harmful effects of the blue light, then pick up a physical book. Well, let me tell you why. With a physical book, you are able to use 4 out of the 5 senses that most of us are created with. Now, you have sight, you have touch, you have sound, and you have smell. All of these together can make mental roadmaps of the information you need whenever reading, especially for classes. If I'm studying this book for a class and I'm trying to find some information that was in here and I know it was there, but I just don't remember what the information was, I'm able to go, I know about how deep into the book it was, I know about what side of the page the information was on, and then I also can, most of the time, tell about how high or how low it was on the page. You can't quite do that with an electronic book. Reason being is because you're either constantly scrolling or you're just constantly swiping left. So there's a very big difference in mental road mapping whenever you're using a physical book versus an ebook. Now, I will admit that ebooks do have their perks. The average Kindle, or it's the average Kindle, I guess, they are able to hold over 2,000 books at a time. That's a lot of books, and it obviously saves quite a lot of space, and you can take it with you wherever you go. However, just visualize with me for a moment, how much more could we enjoy reading books or even retain more information for studying if we use a physical book and use the mapping senses that we discussed a few moments earlier. So get the most out of your reading. Sure, ebooks are convenient, but the blue light effects on your eyes are really bad, not to mention you're kind of reliant on a battery life. We can enjoy reading so much more if we just use a physical book and actually be able to immerse ourselves into the stories that we're reading and use those senses. Not to mention that we can stay in our faraway world for as long as we wish without having to worry about the battery dying and leaving us with nothing but a paperweight. So next time you try reading for class or even just for pleasure itself, just try reading a physical book and you'll be amazed at what you can retain or how far into the story you can go. So please, I implore you to set aside the electronic devices and screens that we already use so often and instead pick up a physical book. You will not be sorry.